All right, everybody, welcome to Meet the Candidates. I will be your host, DJ, and MC tonight, all wrapped into one. So I've got some questions, but I know other people in the crowd do as well. I'm gonna keep an eye online. So if you do have a question, I believe everybody is muted right now. But if you do have a question, you can put it in the comments or raise your hand, unmute you. We can ask those questions as well, but Lucy, Carson, Mike Akins, thank you very much for coming. And it's honestly just a get to know you session. We want to know where you stand on certain topics, what you bring to the board, what your backgrounds are, and everything in between. So if we want to start off with you, Lucy, just kind of give us a little bit about yourself, why you're sitting in that seat, and some of your history here at the club.
Well, I've been here about 5 years now. I've served on numerous committees and I really enjoyed my community experience. I love the golf here. It's just fabulous. I love the members. I love the management team. I love the directors. So that's part of the reason why I'm sitting here. But overall, I think I'd like to see a continuation of progress that we've made in our governance structure and our capital reinvestment plan, and a lot of the things that we're doing now, I like what we're doing now, and I kind of have a front row seat with being on the LRP committee, the LRP Manor House subcommittee, and the nominating committee, women's invitational committee, PPWGA board. And it was nice because I got to sit on the Compass committee meetings and got a feel for how that structure works. So, you know, I don't see anything that I like say, oh, well, this needs to be changed and that needs to be changed. But I'm seeing this a lot of really good progress in those areas.
Thank you. Mike, welcome. Thank you. Same.
So remind me of the question again?
What brought you here? Some of your background at the club and maybe some vision you have for what this could look like in the future.
Well, the first question is, I think everyone in the room knows I've been here 2 years when we moved in Prairie Park. So I'm not a 5-time or on any committees, but I did sit in on the LRB, which I think is renamed now, to learn quite a bit about that. So as far as committee work, I'm very limited.
Okay.
But very interested in learning more about the capital side of the business. But why am I here? Well, the short answer is I had a call. And what I mean by that is Mr. Palumbo over there was working on me for months. And then I get a call from Sean or an email, and then I get another one from Nate. Hey, if you're gonna apply, here it is.
All your information.
Here it is. And then they pull out the big guns, and Gary calls me one night and says, you got any questions? And after about an hour, I ran out of questions, so that's what I mean by I had a call.
Good.
So I got a little bit of nudging, but no, in all seriousness, we moved here 2 years ago. We want to be part of the club, the community, just get to know everybody a little bit better and see what we can do to support the members.
Yeah. I think we definitely have some questions in the room, but what history you have with employment? I'd like to hear a little bit about what your career brought you through to get you maybe to this point, if you're still part-time, retired, and what that contribution looks like.
Okay, well, I graduated and went into banking and went through a management training program at the Colorado National Bank when they got concepts where I met Ron. And I was in banking for about 11 years. And then I started having my kids and the bank got bought out. And there was a huge culture clash between in 2 days, so I said, you know, I'm out of here. And then I started volunteering in my kids' school and spent a lot of time getting involved there. And one of the teachers said, Lucy, you're spending all this time, you might as well just go back and get your teaching certificate. So I did, and I taught for 16 years in Wisconsin Public Schools and, retired about 10 years ago. So now I get to play and be on committees.
Exactly what you envisioned, right? Mike, how about you?
So my background is in the. I think I attached a resume to that application you guys asked for, but started off in engineering, General Motors, and then changed program management. In the last 25 years, it's been in the financial industry. Been a financial advisor. In the last 7 years, I've been on the staff side, so I get involved with investment models, technology, and facilities, anything like that. So my title is FinTech Chief, so it's a big bubble, anything that falls in there. I usually get my hands involved. So that's why I'm a numbers guy, I'm a spreadsheet guy. I'm a continuous improvement guy, engineering by nature. How can we continually move this along? So I have a lot of nonprofit experience, worked on Superior Chamber of Commerce Board, Toastmasters Board. Has anybody else been in Toastmasters in here? So Toastmaster, public speaking type board. So we had that for Colorado, and Wyoming, 4,000 members, 200 clubs. So it's quite a big deal. During COVID, it's a challenge. But anyway, nonprofit background, financial technology.
Good.
And I'm still working.
Still doing the grind.
Still working.
I've got a few questions I kind of came up with, but did anybody from the audience want to just ask something that might be on their mind or something to bring to the table for what these guys got going on up here?
Lucy, do you have any holes in one?
I do actually.
I'm not voting for you then.
Sore subject for Ted.
No, listen, asking how many, there's 3 in your family? More than that, answer your question.
How many do you have?
Mandy and I have 4 between.
It's a couple effort.
Well, we were teasing Mandy about getting a hole in one on. Well, if I get one, I'm not so okay.
I got a quick question.
Yeah,
What's your impression of the culture here in Prairie Park? You've been here 5 years, you've been here 2. What's your observation?
I'm first.
Then we're-
Who you ask? I'll go first. Now, my impression is it's got a great local feel. We live here, love the area, and the people here are so friendly. It's easy to get to know people on the golf course, but also in the neighborhood up here. And it seems very similar. Golf course, even though half the club members are not from here, it seems like they've bought into that style of a club. It's not very, I'm glad to see not very pretentious or it's just average people with half retirees and half working people. Very friendly.
I agree with that.
I would too. In fact, that's one of the reasons why I enjoy it is not just because the park is so beautiful and the golf is so beautiful, but the people were so friendly and there wasn't a lot of pretentiousness there again. It feels like more of a golf community than just a golf club. Where members are actively involved and care about the club and I think that's a really nice culture to have.
Kind of along those lines, this question I had too was, what role do you see the board playing in maintaining that culture that we currently have within the club? Setting examples and that type of thing, where you see that playing out?
Closest first.
Yes.
Well, from my viewpoint, it seems like a lot of professional interactions with the staff. I would say respectful with members from what I've seen. I don't sit in your seats and see what's going on boards. I know there's always issues at a club like this, but I also heard about board members having a specific thing or focus or vendetta they want to work on. I look at a board, you got to represent all the members, take in all the inputs, what's the best decision for everybody. it's tough. I mean, you get some winners and losers, but hopefully at the end of the day, the membership realizes you balance everything the best you could, but with your resources available.
See how you feel about it.
I think, it's a partnership between the board and the members and the management. The way the committees are set up, where you have the board involvement, you have director involvement, you have member involvement. I think that that's a very good setup for interacting, and if members have issues, to bring it up to a committee, which has representation from the board, management, and as well as other members. So
It's good. Kind of along those lines as well, like you kind of mentioned it, I think everybody comes into any situation with bias. Whether it's their previous experiences, whether it's forecasting what they think is gonna happen in the future. Do you feel like any of your biases that you bring into the table, would affect what you're doing on the board? And do you think there's anything with any groups that you play with, members that you've interacted with, anybody that could be in your ear, anything along those lines with, was on with you? Personally, like.
What do you think my bias is, sir?
I'm,
Spreadsheets, too many spreadsheets?
yeah, yeah, I'm a rule follower by nature, so when someone comes to me and says, what do you think about this? I mean, you gotta know if it follows the rules. We've got policies, governance documents, and everything that goes along with the bylaws. And if it doesn't correlate with that, what is that gonna be? And what kind of effect would that have if you bend it just a little bit? So I don't wanna have to, like, if you're gonna think about taking that bias and bending it positively or negatively, do you think there's anything that you have coming to this board with a bias?
Well, obviously you have procedures and policies in place that usually addresses majority of issues, but I find there's always little gray areas that need to be discussed.
People find those pretty easy to
Yeah.
do.
In fact, I had a guy in Toastmasters call me Gandalf the Gray, because I was good at figuring out a balance in that gray zone,
Oh,
how you can satisfy as many people as possible. Because you can't write out thousands of pages of procedures. You gotta use some common sense. There's people with experience and history here.
yeah.
I've got 2 years, so I lean on the people with all that experience. Yeah.
What do you, Lucy?
I probably have a couple of biases, and then I feel like I'd like for the club to maintain its culture and focus on the goal and not get sidetracked with maybe doing something more along the country club lines, but really putting our capital dollars back into the club, back into golf operations. And secondly, probably, I think it's important to maintain a strong women's program at the club. That it's beneficial for not just the women, but the men and the overall people. So.
So question for both of you. Maybe you can start this. Mike keeps getting put on the spot. Oh, yeah.
What's your name?
Don't go there.
So one of the most important things as a board member is to remember that you're representing the memberships, and the membership is a whole. And you may have a personal opinion on something like whether we should redo the 12th green or anything. But it's most, well, you see, that's the problem. What you have to do is you have to make sure that you're representing the opinion of the membership, not your personal membership. So I guess two-part question. One is you understand the issue and you think you can get past just what you think personally. And second, what are your connections in the club that will help you make sure that you're gathering a membership opinion rather than your own person.
Well, I think, the committees, the way they're structured, if you have an issue or a problem or bias, we need to bring it up to the committee. And I think it's worth members taking an interest in attending those meetings and voicing their opinion, and that would be one vote and one voice, and the people on the committees are one voice, one vote. So, I think there needs to be discussion around it. If there is an issue, or bias at the committee level, and then if it's important enough, bring it up to the board.
Ditto what you said. Yeah, bring it to the committee, knock it around, come up with the best solution and bubble it up, but. We're doing a lot more surveys, I see, we got food surveys, we got welfare surveys, so that way you can gather more broad. The people fill it out, more broad opinions. But yeah, I'm more of data gather, compare, and what are the options, and then let's see what everybody thinks. I have one opinion, probably, after I do all that, I'm not one of these 2-second decision people. I need a little while to absorb it, and come out with an opinion. It's making a big ones.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. Anything else?
How can we increase the information from the members overall to the board of directors and their committees?
That's a very good question.
I mean, you brought up surveys, great idea, we do that 40%. And that's high. By comparison. How do we get that better? How do I feel like I'm really representing the membership instead of just a very narrow group?
Yeah.
The easy answer is Mike's gonna be off the board, so they have more time, we're gonna send them around knocking door to door. Hey, you haven't filled this survey out, get on the phone. What do you think of that? That's a good new committee for.
I've had some help.
An army.
Yeah, I don't know, it's every board or nonprofit, just the open rates are abysmal these days. They don't read stuff, we spend all that time putting all this information together, share, and then you read a couple sentences, doesn't apply to me. On to the next. Fine answer to that.
Well, I think it's hard when things are going well, and you know, everything's right on track and people are happy, they're like, I don't think everything's going great, I don't need the same things. Oh, you know, that's kind of good news and bad news.
I think our open rate's a little bit better for our club, it's a little bit over 50%, so. Our weekly email is a lot, and we kind of incorporated text messaging now, so it's hopefully gonna be better for our events, for communication, but yeah, it is tough. Gotta get people talking up the chain, and then we can bring that before the board then, so. How would you handle a situation with some different opinions within the board might present themselves, if we're coming to a vote? And we've
I
got,
think that happened in this place.
since very few and far between, very few. But just say, some kind of financial decision that's gonna directly impact all members, whether they're golf or social. And everybody is kind of on one side or the other, but it's not an equal, or it's not a majority. How would you navigate those waters, and what questions might you ask to get people to reach a quorum?
Well, what I'm used to is somebody puts a motion on the floor and then you discuss and then comes to a vote. You put all information in front of everybody and share respectfully. Here's what I think, here's what you think, and eventually you gotta vote them. I assume that's how the board does it here.
Yeah.
And then if there's 7 voting people, there's probably not gonna be a tie.
If it would come down to Gary. As the president.
Break, you get
Try not to have ties.
You
Yeah.
get to break the vote, but. Just get all the information and see where people stand and take a vote. That's all that's my familiarity.
Lucy?
Yeah, I would agree with that, and, you know, maybe some of the problem too with the conflict or differences is that you don't have enough information. When you want to go back and get more information or more member input or whatever that.
Sometimes it's an education to whoever's there, seeing that at work or wherever, they just didn't know, so the background.
Sure.
Now, once that comes up, to, okay,
Change.
I get it.
Yeah. Anybody else?
Years ago, worked with a consultant who came to our company and he says, we don't believe in problems, we believe in opportunities. And your company has a lot of opportunities. How many opportunities do you see here at Prairie Park in the next 1 to 5 years?
Oh, there are so many opportunities in the true sense of the word. I feel like. With our capital plan in place, that's given us a lot more opportunities than we've had in the past. I think there's an opportunity to have golf simulators and electric golf carts and a lot of things like that, that I think,
Why do I feel like I set that question up?
You teed it up pretty well. You did.
Is that his bias, he wants,
No, I don't have a bias, but I forgot she was on the long range. I was like, there it is.
oh, way to get a softball there.
Purely unintentional.
Do I get two
Same
names?
question.
Sure, yeah.
Well, I was just looking at what I wrote on as priorities on the application. My number one is just continually elevate the member experience. Which apparently we have a $10 million backlog from what I've learned on the LRP. There's a lot of things we could do, but can't do them. We don't have bottomless pits, the capital to spread it around, but. I think it all bubbles up to better experience. Restaurant, on the golf course, the whole thing. Continuous improvement in a balanced approach. I'm not gonna give you driving range or golf sim or any of that stuff. It's just. Where can we just continue to. Make it better for everybody?
and that balance between those aspirational needs and the obligatory needs that we have is an opportunity.
That damn.
The dance.
Yeah.
Irrigation.
One thing I just try to mention and see how you, if you're anticipating or how best works for you, but everybody's a volunteer that's on the board. People have come to spend some time to help the club. And this is a 3-year term. And to be beneficial, people need, the board members need to learn quickly, kind of what's happened, what's happening, what their role is, and then also to kind of bring their background to each of the issues that kind of come to the board, and do it in a way that helps the other members come up to speed to the issues. Some have more time to kind of think through it. Some need a little help on understanding the issue, and it takes a bit of time. And it takes kind of commitment to get up to speed quickly and then be contributing. Because the first, I tell the board members, the first year you're learning, the second year you're teaching the second. The next one, new one's in, and the third one, you're figuring out how do you hand it off. So I'm just wondering, are you prepared to make some commitments on your time to be an effective board member and spend the time to get up to speed and help the other board members make better decisions and understand the issue? Because this isn't our first career of running golf courses. We have a management team that does that. We're just trying to help support them. So I guess asking each of you is, are you anticipating a bit of time, but not only yourself, but to help the other board members in areas where you have expertise?
Yeah, I appreciate you guys.
Just to add a little bit to Gary's question, so we've had 2 or 3 members, board members in the last 10 years who quit after 4 months, realizing how much work it is. So I guess the
That happened last year, right?
The one was kind of implicit in Gary's question.
But I wouldn't give them the option. No, that's experience that for sure.
Well, I think when the announcement came out that they had somebody estimated it's about 20 hours a month.
It depends. You can do way more than that if you want.
So I'm at least committed to 20 hours a month and yeah, that 3-year term. Prepared to do that.
I thought Mike said it was the first year and then 2 years for quick. Just do it in 1 year and see how you like
He hasn't been coasting for 2 years.
it.
And it's just a.
Yeah, I've been
consideration.
on other nonprofit boards and you get out what you put into it, so it's a matter of how much time you allocate. It gets really bubbly sometimes, and then it gets kind of slow. Probably the winter, I imagine it slows down, and then it's February, it gets bubbly again. Lot of effort to get the club back up and running after the shutdown. So, but without saying I don't know the hours, I'm just saying I put my name in because I said I would help out.
And just put it like that. We're allowed to focus on the future because we support our management team to manage the day-to-day.
Yeah.
And if we fail in that course, then we get pulled back into managing the day-to-day. So a good part of our time is cheerleaders to keep the management team motivated, supported, paid, all the kind of things that let them deliver the amazing experience to the members.
Yeah, the board sounds like the last few years got away from being department heads and leading, being mechanics, actually running things to more of a board. Which is good.
Yeah, I can speak that they've been very, very supportive. And I mean, they're not getting into the minutia of the operation, they know that they look from afar and they realize that they're all on committees, they hear what the members are saying, hopefully. And then they'll pull us aside and say, this is what I heard, this is what we think may be able to be done, but they're not micromanaging at all. So it's been very refreshing for that, so. I've been here for a little over 2 years now, and within those 2 years, I've seen some dramatic changes within this club. We definitely invested a lot of capital. I know, Lucy, you've been on the LRP, subcommittee, and like, maybe you do, maybe you don't see some of the things we're doing behind the scenes or what's more public facing, but anything that you've seen just as a golf member coming in and saying, you know what, I think I'd like to see what that might look like at this club, or what capital investments would you like to see maybe happen in the next 3 years while you're on term, or maybe even the 5 to 10 year plan?
I did sit in on the LRP meeting a couple weeks ago, I forget, but we have a long list from Sean and see all the priorities. Yeah, I don't have it memorized, but for me personally, it's more of the golf experience out there, is what do we need, and I'm apparently should be worried more about the pump house bird. Hearing about, so bigger projects, 2031 bucket list of all these things. I'm more focused on long-term stuff, that's the way I'm wired versus next week.
Sure.
Sort of planning, I just don't know the priorities well right now.
Gotcha.
For me personally, it's making a better experience out there.
You see how you've been absorbing all that information on those committees, and where would you like to see us in 10 years? What does this place look like to you?
Well, I've already given you a couple of hints. But like I said, I like what I'm seeing and I really enjoy being on the committees. I think it's really nice to be able to plan long term when we've got some money and I'm trying to figure out the puzzle of, you know, what needs to be replaced asset wise versus kind of our long term aspirational projects. So it's been a very good experience. I've really enjoyed it. It's actually been fun.
Anybody else? We are almost to our new cap. 320, we're at 317. We just had a membership interview today. Got an application, so another one on the books. Looks like it's gonna be coming down the pipeline. So great job, Lana. How would you see us navigating if we do start to see a decline? What would we do for efforts to even get the word out there that Perry Park is still the best club, best value in town, and be able to attract and retain new members?
That's okay. No, but, it's kind of interesting because when Ron and I joined, we, bought one of those green books. Green pass, and so you could go around to different clubs.
Sure.
The ones that we banned.
Yeah, avid golfer.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, that was a revenue,
It was.
money maker for us while we had it, but, so at any rate. We played because we had, an opportunity through that green club to play this course, and we played 3 or 4 other courses, and just said, you know what? Perry Park's the one that has checked all the boxes.
Were you shopping at that time?
We
Or
were
looking for
kind of
members?
shopping,
Yeah.
and we didn't know if, you know, we wanted to just play one course all the time, over and over again. I thought, like, you know, that would get really boring, don't you think? But, you know.
Not the way I play golf.
You never have to say why, you never have.
So I'm gonna add something to this. So we did join.
Yes.
So Lucy and I, the first time we were actual members, we come out to play. We go to the 5th. And you asked, does Lucy have a hole in one? She got a hole in one on her first round as a member.
Ever playing here?
Yeah.
Wow.
So my story is that I've been playing for 40 years. I didn't have one at this point. Lucy been playing for 4 years and she has one. So when we go into my man cave, we have her shadow box of her hole in
Oh,
one.
yeah.
My buddies come in and go, hey, Ron, where's your shadow box?
Since I joined the club, I just calculated, I played the 5th hole 850 times.
Still not only one. Well, you can multiply that by 4.
You're
And that would
screwing
be
the odds
one
quite
or
a bit.
three opportunities. So you're talking like 1,700 chances. You're 0 for 1,700.
What you need to tell them is that of those 850,000 played, hole number 5, 800 of them have been within half an inch of that.
I'd be lost.
Horseshoes or that.
Yeah, that's it. Almost.
Good man.
Make it feel better.
No.
So how many men have done?
She's not telling.
All right, so any questions?
So on membership,
Yes.
my understanding of skimming through the bylaws and procedures, it looks like you target a 5% wait list. So that membership dues and all that marketing effort is to kind of maintain a 5% wait list. So that sounds about right. So if that goes to 0 and we lose people, because we have another recession. We'll say, I'm done. So you have to put a marketing plan together, maybe use fees, whatever it is to find that right balance, but you can't do that too much or you end up getting through your capital plan. It's a fine line in there, but you want a little bit of backlog, I would say, a wait list. You don't want 0. No. That probably true ball clubs, you probably know more than I would, but just in my quick observation, it's nice to have a little bit of a wait list.
I've heard clubs, I had a friend of mine up in Denver that waited for 4 years on a wait list. And he finally just got fed up with it. He couldn't work himself through that wait list fast enough because people weren't.
Yeah.
Moving and they weren't. So. I think we're in a very good spot right now, technically 317, it's gonna be up to 318 by the board meeting, so. Things are still trending in the right direction for us. I think the most we've ever had is one on the wait list, so there's always been an ebb and flow and keep that, but I would like to see a little bit more. Just people hanging out, just waiting and having that lure and waiting just a little bit. Mission for that, so. Anybody else think of another question?
Oh, sure, I'll.
You guys got one.
What's your opinion in regards to Manor House closures for weddings?
Boy, that's been talked about a lot.
As you mentioned, I want to say your personal opinion, but going back to the member, what do you think the opinion of the members? So maybe you and then what do you think the general?
Well, I think the general opinion is that the full club closures are big inconvenience.
Can't hear you.
The full club closures are a big inconvenience for the members. It's been nice when we've had the band out by Max's and free drinks and chef out there cooking. That kind of takes the sting out of not being able to use our own club. So and then I've heard about different opinions about partial wedding closures, but closures or partial weddings. I don't know what to say there, but only part of the club is closed for that smaller wedding. And that doesn't seem to be as much of an inconvenience for members. They don't, it seems to me that this, but I'm hearing that they don't mind those as much as the full club closure weddings. But there's some communication that still needs to happen between what's the difference between the partial and the full club closure. So I think that there's some issues around that by the members.
You heard some things too?
Yeah, I've heard that some members. Get a big bell curve, right? Some members really hate it, because they want their club. Others on the other side, oh, it was fun out there. Me personally, I just live right up here, so it doesn't affect me at all.
Right.
I just come down, pop the Max's a little bit, or come hit balls. Personally, it doesn't, I don't see an impact, but people that play Saturdays, Sundays consistently, they're the ones probably has strong opinions. Yeah, I'm neutral on. I don't really know what the membership has to say, but heard it's mentioned.
We'll find out soon.
Sure, there's a vocal marathon where you're again.
Along those lines as well. You probably hear things from other members, maybe experience them. What do you feel could be the biggest issues for this club within 2025? How would you address that?
You want to say something, Joe? No, I was just where I'm just. Oh, okay, I spoke to minority about labor. No, I think you had to voice your opinion. I saw you going like this.
It's just my opinion that it's a summer club. We can't play year round here all the time, and so many weddings are in the summer. In the weekends, I have a big problem with them on holiday weekends, closing the club on holiday weekend. Because there's really only 3 holidays in the summer, and it closes for a holiday weekend this summer. Excuse me.
Well, and I think we don't close the club on holiday weekends anymore.
Move forward, but
More than
there was,
Yeah. This year.
this year, and there's already one booked for Memorial Day next year.
And not beyond that.
But not beyond that, we're done.
I'm sorry, what?
So we're done. Memorial's the last time we're doing that, and that was a board decision, not a.
Well,
Do you foresee any potential issues that we need to address in 2025? And how would you address that issue? Would you see any forecasting of anything that heard or anything you experienced that, you know, where we'd be able to talk about it, but the pump house is obviously something that could be a big red flag, but anything else that you think just within short term could be something we need to address?
I'd have to refer to the priority list, and LRP, and then nothing pops in my head, it's emergency. Seems like everyone tamping emergencies down, like whack them on, it's,
We'll have to keep that.
they're down right now. What I see, nothing really pops in my head.
Okay.
Well, the nice thing is that long range planning has identified a lot of those projects that are coming up in the near term. That are obligatory. And so I get the sense that we've identified what we need to do, what's out there, what's required. I don't see any surprises per se that hasn't already been talked about in terms of capital planning, capital stuff.
Or even, kind of like what Joe was talking about, just maybe it's not capital, but maybe it's a wedding issue, or maybe it's something that a small group of individuals are monopolizing the T sheet, or just something that clubs could suffer from. But nothing that I've come to my mind, but you know, if you put your finger on the pulse and you maybe heard some things from anybody else. That's good.
I just refer to the priorities on the big list.
Yeah.
That's what,
It's a good list.
there's been a lot of work.
Is there any comments online?
It's no chats.
I'm not sure if this is a question or a comment, but what we hear so much about Perry Park is it's all about the, you know, obviously the golf course and all that, but it's about the people and the culture and the attitude. And we've been here 30 years and we've never seen a better culture. And I think that is in large part because of our management team. I mean, there really appears to be a culture where the staff that works for the management team are generally happy. And you can see it in the wait staff, you can see it in the pro shop, you can see it all over the place, where it's kind of a. And I like to use this phrase, but it's like the management team treats the employees the way they want the employees to treat the members. And it's really been a positive attitude that in the last couple, 3 years that we've never seen at this time. So one of the things we need to do to maintain that is continue to keep the management staff happy and try to keep the regular staff happy and then keep the members happy. That's, I think part of the new role will be going forward. To be sensitive to that and aware of it and figure out how we can make sure we keep this great team we have.
And directors, adjourn, and great.
I have one final question, it's for Lucy.
Specifically,
Yeah.
yes.
There's only one right answer.
Wait. Did you practice this before you tell?
Who's your favorite male golfer at Perry Park? Can you find that? Tell me what answer. It shouldn't take that long. It's taking a lot of homes and ahs.
That's good. Thank you. I exhausted my question list. I don't know if anybody else wanted to.
Well, I just want to thank both of you for stepping up. I know the nominating committee, worked hard to find qualified candidates. I think they have. Our charter, our bylaw requires 3 candidates. If we can find them, and we've been able to find 2 highly qualified candidates, and I think it's a good example when we kind of need to go forward, so. I think we're honored that you're stepping up to help that one to look forward to having you come. Doing the work. You're
And I'm glad we were able to get this done before the real debate.
Yeah, good timing there, Greg.
13 minutes.
That is a good, yeah.
Should be interesting. Thank you, everybody, for coming.
Thank you very much.
We are gonna send out an email, post this on the website as well, for people to preview. And then, if there's any other questions, please don't hesitate to get a hold of me, and then I will communicate that. In my,
And the ballots went out already.
ballot's already out,
We
yes,
want everybody to vote and vote often.
yes.
Vote early, vote often.
Well, only the primary member can vote. I can't vote for myself.
You could switch to the primary then.
Yeah, like
That's true.
I'm gonna vote again.